Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So today's episode comes to you courtesy of one of my amazing patrons, Daryl, who's been supporting this channel as a general tier patron. I truly couldn't do this without support from amazing patrons like Daryl, so again, Daryl, thank you so much. And for the personalized deck tech, Daryl chose a fantastic partner pirate combination. Let's start with Francisco Fowl Marauder, a fantastic name as well. A 0/1 bird pirate with flying that cannot block, that costs 1 and a black. It says, whenever one or more pirates you control deal combo damage to a player, Francisco explores. Actually, I just messed up right there. Just damage, not combat damage, so do keep that in mind. That being said, partners. So the other side of this combination is, of course, Breeches, Brazen Plunderer, a 3/3 goblin pirate with menace that costs 4 mana in red. So we've got a Rakdos combination for our pirate deck. Whenever one or more pirates you control deal damage to your opponents, exile the top card of each of your opponent's libraries. You may play those cards this turn, and you may spend mana's Lord of any color to cast those spells. So with this combination, we've got some exploring going on, getting lands off the top of our deck, getting potentially counters onto our creatures, getting cards into our graveyard if we don't need those, and also we've got the potential to impulse draw as well. So lots of value to be had here with this amazing combination. We're going to be getting our pirates through. We're going to be making a massive pirate army and having so much value that we overwhelm our opponents with this amazing budget deck. And yeah, speaking of amazing, the actual price of this deck is quite amazing at just $20.43 according to Moxfield. Keep in mind that every single card in this deck is going to be very budget friendly, including the commanders. And yeah, that actual price does not include the cost of shipping or base lands, but you might already have those, or you get them from a friend or your LGS, or yeah, just get them in bulk too. So if you are interested in this deck, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. Now with all that said, let's jump into the tactics. Let's start things off with tactic number 1, good crewmate, because we've got some pirates that care about their fellow pirates. That's what pirates do, right? I guess with like One Piece, but outside of that, probably not. Anyways, a 2/2 orc pirate with Dire Fleet Captain. It says whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each other attacking pirate. So this can hit for a lot. Breeches, Eager Pillager is a 3/3 with first strike. Whenever a pirate you control attacks, choose one that has been chosen this turn. Treasure token, target creature can't block this turn, and also impulse draw. So a lot of value to be had there. Forerunner of the Coalition. First up, ETBs. Go tutor for any pirate in your deck. Put it on top of your library. And also on top of that, whenever another pirate enters the battlefield under control, each opponent's going to be drained for 1. So this can provide a lot of value. Again, a great tutor and a great drain source. Lightning Rig Crew is somewhat similar to that, actually. It's going to be able to tap to deal 1 damage to each opponent. But when you cast a pirate spell, you get to untap it as well, so you can just keep pinging again, and again. Dire Fleet Neckbreaker, though, is a great one. Attacking pirates you control get +2/+0. That is a huge amount of extra damage for our team on a 4-mana 3/2 body. Gem Cutter Buccaneer, though, is a 1/3 orc pirate artificer, because that's a thing. Whenever another pirate enters the battlefield under control, create a tap treasure token, so a lot of value to be had there. Treasure you control are equipment each of their types and have equip equip pirate 1 +2/+0 though. So basically, hey, make a bunch of treasures, which you can of course use for mana or utilize to equip your pirates and start hitting even harder. Skeleton Crew is a great one as well. Each other creature you control, let's say a skeleton or a pirate, gets +1, so a nice anthem there. On top of that, whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard, you get a 2/2 black skeleton creature token, and you can pay 6 5 and a black to return to your graveyard from the battlefield tapped. Finally, Course Recruiter, a great threat and effect on a body. ETBs, or another pirate ETBs, gain control to our creature on turn, untap that creature, gains haste, basically again threatened, but on top of that, it is now a pirate. It has joined the crew, and it's going to get all the other pirate benefits that you have. Next up, though, tactic number 2, hard hitters. And hit hard we shall with Shared Animosity, an enchantment for 3 mana. Whenever a creature you control attacks, it gets +1/+0 top turn for each other creature that shares a creature type with it. So, kind of like a coat of arms for our pirates, but, I mean, without the toughness. But who needs toughness when you're hitting incredibly hard on that attack? Next up, Captivating Crew. We also can, well, borrow some more creatures with this one. Pay 3 in a red, gain control to our creature until top turn. Essentially, yeah, basically repeatable threat and effect. effect. Lovely. Dire Fleet Ravager, though, my goodness, does this hit hard. A 4/4 Menace Death Touch, so that's already great to be able to get through. On top of that, ETB, each player loses a third of their life rounded up, so bring everyone down. Yeah, including yourself, but we're going to make things fast. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to take opponents out with this. Port Razor, speaking of taking players out, whenever it deals counter damage to a player, untap each other creature control. Basically, you get an extra combat, essentially. On top of that, it can't attack if a player has already attacked that player this turn, essentially. So, hey, you hit one player, you hit another player, you hit another player. Lots of extra combats to be had. Ingress Marauders, though, my goodness. If a sorcery control deal damage to a permanent player, deals double that damage to that permanent player instead. Double up all the pain your opponents are going through. What's not to love about that? But speaking of doubling, let's move on to tactic number 3, the golden pig of this deck. The number 1 card, in my opinion, of the 99 is Rage Reflection, an enchantment for 6 mana. Creatures you control have double strike. So again, yes, we're going to be doubling up our damage on our opponents. Yes, we're going to have that first strike to protect our creatures in combat, followed up by that next hit. And that is why, well, not just the doubling of damage, but the fact that you are hitting twice is huge because, again, our commanders absolutely love when you hit opponents. And essentially, when you're doing that with your pirates, now you get 1 hit, you get 2 hits, you're doubling up that value, essentially, from, well, maybe, 3 value, essentially, on a turn to now 6 value on a turn from your commander's triggers. Absolutely lovely to be had. So yeah, Rage Reflection is great in this deck, again, for so many reasons. Definitely, in my opinion, worthy of the title of Golden Pig. Next up, though, let's go on to tactic number 4, Get Through. First up, Goblin War Drums. This is apparently the cheapest version, showed up by Moxfield. Thank you, Moxfield. Just 16 cents. It's also the weirdest worded version because it's just an enchantment that costs 3, and it says, basically, creatures control menace. Yeah, I mean, it essentially, has other weird text on it, but yeah, just take my word for it. The Oracle tag is menace. Anyways, next up, Intimidation, enchantment for 5 mana. Another one that kind of also has, needed to be Oracle tagged, but it's the cheapest version of it. Regardless, basically your creatures have fear, which again does mean can't be blocked by artifact creatures and black creatures. So these are both great enchantments to help give our creatures some extra evasion, helping them get through on opponents and getting those triggers from our commanders. Next up, though, with tactic number 5, we also have a spell that can help us out and be a bit flexible as well. Get Through again. Let's do that with Dirge of Dread, a sorcery for 3 mana. All creatures gain fear until end of turn. I do find this kind of interesting, actually, really quick, that it says all creatures, because your opponent's creatures technically get fear too, but it's at sorcery speed, so yeah, sure, not gonna really do anything with that. You can also cycle it away, though, and it's gonna give target creature fear until end of turn, so if you don't need your entire army, you just want to get 1 through, and you want to draw a card and replace this, you can. It is flexible, it is great. Typically, you can get your creatures through in many situations, at least against 1 or 2 players. But also on to tactic number 6, Bring Friends, and Carry Zev, Skyship Raider, will do just that. A 1/3 human pirate with first strike and menace, again, hard to block. Whenever it attacks, create Ragavan, a legendary 2/1 red monkey creature token, enters battlefield tapped and attacking, exiled at the end of combat. Coastline Marauders, just a 0/3, right? Not very, very powerful. Wait, no, here we go. Trample. Whenever it attacks, it gets +1/0 until turn for each land defending player controls. The longer the game goes, especially against that green player over there that's been ramping, you're going to be hitting harder and harder. And of course, you can encore this out of your graveyard, so you get 3 of them essentially attacking each player. Well, 1 for each player. You know what I mean? Corpses of the Lost. First up, Skeletons you control +1/0 and have haste. Nice. Enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 black skeleton pirate creature token. At the beginning of your end step, if you descend to this turn, you may pay 1 life. If you do, bring it back to its owner's hand, so you can create more and more and more of these skeleton pirates. Next up, Daring Piracy, an enchantment for 3 mana. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you get a 1/1 red pirate creature token with haste and menace. Exile at the beginning of the next end step. Fathom Fleet Swordjack is another way to add to our army. Whenever it attacks, deals damage to the player or planeswalker attacking equal to the number of artifacts you control. Again, we've got some treasure synergies in here too, so that can deal extra damage for us, which is lovely. Also encore, so again, yeah, you can make 3 tokens of it essentially at a certain point. And then their opponents are going to be in big trouble with that extra damage coming through. Next up, let's go to tactic number 7, Dig Deep. And Dig Deep we shall with Deadeye Tracker, a 1/1 human pirate for a single mana. Pay 1 a black tap. exile 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard. It is going to explore, so some more explore synergies there. Cathartic Reunion, discard 2 cards, draw 3. What's not to love about that? Dire Fleet, Daredevil, a human pirate that can help us out as well. First strike 2/1, ETB, exile a sorcery, an instant from an opponent's graveyard. You can actually cast that this turn, and the mana spending thing, whatever it is. Sign in Blood as well, 2 mana, draw 2, lose to anyone essentially. So yeah, if you're going to be doing it yourself, 2 life for 2 cards is plenty worth it. But hey, an opponent might be at 2 life, and you're like, fun finisher for me. Next up, throw a possibility, instant speed, discard 1, draw 2. Read the Bones, 3 mana, scry 2, draw 2, lose 2. Ruin Raider, raid at the end step. Essentially, if you attack with a creature this turn, reveal a top card of your library with that card in your hand, lose like a card's mana cost. So essentially, kind of like Bob. You know, essentially, like Bob right there. So we've got another Bob, but a pirate Bob, being able to essentially dig down into our deck, getting more and more cards into our hand at the cost of life, and that's okay. We're pretty low to the ground deck. Next up, seize these spoils. Discard 1 card, draw 2, but also make a treasure token. So again, keep in mind those treasure synergies. Tomb Robber, a 1/1 menace that has pay 1, discard a card. It's going to explore, so we can actually get some things off the top of our library or into our graveyard to get more counters on this, hit it harder. Next up, Crimson Fleet Commodore, 5/2 a trample. ETB should become the Monarch. Yes, Monarch is great for this kind of a deck. We're going to be aggressive. We want to get through. We've got evasion. We can keep getting that back if it keeps getting taken. Next up, Rowdy Crew, 3/3 trample. ETB, draw 3, discard 2 at random. 2 cards, share same type or discard this way. You get 2 counters on this, so it can hit even harder. Siphon Mine. Everyone else discards 1 card. We draw that many cards, so typically discard 3, draw 3. What's not to love about a 4 mana spell? Unexpected Windfall, discard 1, draw 2, get 2 treasure tokens, and then Boarding Party. Cascade at 6 mana, Hasty 6/3. A lot of value can be had out of this. Next up, tactic number 8, walk the plank, and we will make our opponents walk the plank at some point, but first up, let's make their permanents walk the plank. A Braid, 3 damage to a creature or destroy target artifact. Feed the Swarm, destroy target creature enchantment opponent controls. We lose some life, but that's okay. Kitesail Freebooter, 1/2 flyer, ETB, target opponent reveals their hand, choose a non-creature, non-land from it. We get rid of that card until this leaves the battlefield. Rakdos Charm, very flexible. Exile player's graveyard, that can be huge. Destroy an artifact also can be huge, and 1 damage to its controller from each creature. That can be game ending against certain opponents. Terminate, destroy a target creature, can't be regenerated. You find some prisoners. We can either destroy an artifact or get some impulse draw off the top of an opponent's library, and that whole, whatever kind of mana we need to utilize for those cards. Bedevil, destroy a target artifact, creature, or planeswalker, very flexible there. Neverall's Disc, a great panic button for us. ETB, tap, pay 1, tap, destroy artifacts, creatures, and enchantment. So again, a great panic button to say, let's reset things a little bit. Anzarag's Rampage. We destroy all artifacts we don't control. Exile top X cards of our library, X number of artifacts, put in graveyard to the battlefield this turn. And essentially, we can put a creature card, Exile Sway, right onto the battlefield. It gains haste, brings back to our hand at the next end step. So this is a very splashy play. Get rid of a lot of things, potentially get something big into play for free. What's not to love about that? Finally, speaking of a big play, Blood Money. Straw creatures for each non-token creature destroy this way. We get a tap treasure token. So again, talking about those treasure synergies, this can really help us with that. Next up, though, tactic number 9, get it started, and we shall get it started with Wayfarer's Bauble, of course. First up, there's Wayfarer's Bauble. Pay 2 taps, sacrifice, go get a big land to play tapped. Everflowing Chalice, a very flexible mana rock. Pay 2 taps for 1, pay 4 taps for 2, etc., etc. Greedy Freebooter, a 1/1 for 1. When it dies, scry 1, get a treasure token, replace it. Impulsive Pilfer, also a 1/1 for 1. Get a treasure token when it dies, but also we can encore it back out so we can get 3 treasures when they die as well. Arcane Signet, very simple, very effective. 2 mana, taps for either of our colors. Charcoal Diamond enters the battlefield, taps for a black. Fire Diamond, same thing, but it taps for a red. Felwar Stone typically can tap for either of our colors depending on our opponent's land situation. Mind Stone taps for our colors, but that's okay. We can also pay 1 to tap and sacrifice to draw a card and replace it. Rakdos Cygnus filters for our colors. Talisman of Indulgence can tap for a colors or tap for one of our colors for 1 damage. 1 damage is no big deal. You're playing Commander, you got 40 life. Thought Vessel, no maximum hand size, lovely. Also can tap for a colors. Wily Goblin, ETB, make a treasure, and it's a 1/1 pirate. What's not to love about that? Captain Lannery Storm, a 2/2 with haste. Attack, create treasure token. On top of that, whenever you sacrifice a treasure, +1/0 until end of turn. So this can get actually really huge. Ruthless Knave. Speaking of treasure synergies, though, a 3/2 Orc Pirate for 3 mana. Pay 3 mana, sacrifice a creature, 2 treasure tokens. Yeah, again, if a creature's already going to be on the way out, we're like, hey, you know what? Let's exchange you for some treasures for some future value. But now as this episode is coming to a close, it's time for me to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts are on this deck. And if you are interested in this deck, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.